Okay, welcome back to the channel. First pier trip of the year, and we're going to talk about some key pier jigging concepts. But first, some quick housekeeping. All three blade attachments are back in stock for now. I'm trying my best to keep up, and I certainly appreciate everyone's orders and patience. Many have purchased the virtual lessons as well, and several of you have taken advantage of the ongoing technical support, which is part of that package. I'm here to answer any questions you might have on the course material. So those are available as well on my website, cookingandfishing.com. So throughout the day, you're going to see me casting at a fairly tight angle to the pier. And I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. First, the current here is significant, and using the 1/4 ounce jig head, especially paired to the spinner blade, is much easier to maintain bottom contact casting almost directly up current. The second reason is more straightforward. Many of these fish are set up close to the pier structure itself. And yes, that is a brand new telescopic net I got for this year. It's made by Tailwalk, and the hoop is slightly larger and deeper than the Major Craft net I've been using for the past few years. The carbon shaft is also stiffer on this Tailwalk net, and that could be a big deal. But in any case, I'll have more to say about this net hopefully later on in the season. So this is the first keeper of the day. Now if you guys notice, I popped the rod tip twice to clear weed from my jig, then started reeling the jig back in, and that fish ate it off the straight retrieve. So who knows if that fish was following from the end of the cast or if she was ambushing closer to that lip. Now, as usual, I'm covering ground. Even on a pier, I'm always poking around, and with everyone stuck together on the other end of this pier for some reason, there's plenty of room to explore. Once again, I'm casting up current, and notice on each cast, I try to get a few bounces in past where I'm standing. I suppose this is the land-based version of the switch bite, which can be such a deadly pattern off a boat or kayak. Your jig is going with the current, a fish might be following behind it, and all of a sudden your jig turns 180 degrees and looks them in the face. That shift in direction have triggered countless bites for me in my fluking career. And once again, this fish hit pretty close to vertical and came off a very tight cast against the side of the pier. Here, the main structure you're targeting is the pier itself. All the pilings that create current breaks for bait fish, that is a big deal, and if you're just casting into the yonder, you're probably missing a lot of fluke that are ambushing right below your feet. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Okay. Is it?
19.
19, right?
Yeah, right
Mouth closed?
Mouth closed.
Alright, there you go.
Beautiful, man.
No problem. Okay, work my way to the other side of the pier. Absolutely filthy with bunker guts and scales, but it is what it is. Definitely shallower here with more current, but the 1/4 ounce jig head is sounding bottom just fine. Oh. Oh. Fuck. Yeah, fucking disaster to lose my unhook 'em tool. I ordered 2 more as soon as I got home that night, but everything I'm using is listed in the description below, and in terms of rod reel setup, I'm using my usual pairing of the Steez AGS to my Vanquish 3000 MHG. As you can probably tell, all my casting angles are basically dictated by the current. Throughout this entire session, the water is moving basically left to right, so all my casts are angled towards my left hand side. Even when the jig is swept past the midpoint, I'm not really trying to pull it against the current, but rather I'm letting the current take my jig and swing it back towards the pier. This is how you get a light jig head to stay on bottom when faced with significant current flow. You're never going to cast against the current and think your jig is staying on the bottom. No. Here, if I were to fire off a cast to my right, within 10 seconds of coming tight, my jig will be on the surface. Alright, so I caught a few more shorts on that end, and now I've made my way back to the quieter part of the pier, where things get rather interesting. On that bite I just missed, somehow it just felt like a big fish. So I gave her a few minutes to settle, took a few vape hits, responded to a few comments, and now I'm back probing this corner of the pier very carefully. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, that was hard to watch, but let's see it again. We're all about reliving the pain to learn the necessary lessons here on cooking and fishing. First, notice the height of the rail where I'm standing. It's chest high, and my instinct is to walk this fish down the ramp where the rail is only waist high for the net job. But right here, I noticed that the guy's rod is directly in my way, so I decided to go for it. Now, because of the high rail, my net deployment was clumsy and slow. And worse, this fish came up awkward, head first and stalled. The worst way for a fluke to come to the surface. And finally, she was barely hooked. You can see the entire gulp outside her mouth. So all these factors led to me losing that fish, which was at least a shore mat caliber fluke. She was definitely over 25 inches, and at the time, I thought she could have been PB material. But now watching the footage, I don't think that fish threatened 28 inches. But the point is, I'll never know. And that's what happens when you lose a fish. You will never know exactly how big that fish was. So here, as you can see, I've dished the blade and I'm doing a little bit of free fall jigging just to snap myself out of that misery. Now the fact that I caught my limit keeper on this technique means the water temps have crept up past a certain threshold, and these fish are now willing to chase down a very erratic jig. This method of jigging, along with all the other methods, are covered in extremely fine detail in my single jig virtual lesson. Yeah, not nearly as big as the one I lost, buddy. In any case, why can't every net job go this smoothly? I don't consider fishing a sport, but choking is definitely a thing. Yeah, the unhook 'em tool will come in handy here. Just a quick pop and the hook's free. Someone pointed out in the comments that not only does it save time and get fish back in the water quicker, the unhook 'em tool is a lot easier on your gulp than using pliers. In any case, this last keeper is coming home with me, and it's the first fish I'm harvesting in 2025. Okay, I hope you guys found this helpful and entertaining both. Not sure where the fluke season is taking me next, but I guess we'll find out next week. Tight lines, and I'll catch you on the next one.